Hello, everybody. Welcome into Inside the SMC, presented by Team FYN Sports. Jake West, your host, joined by Brandon Stevens. Brandon, we're already into week 2. It sounds crazy to say. We've been waiting all summer for football to roll around, and here we are already with 1 week under our belt. Um, just looking back at last week, what was the number one thing that stuck out to you, Brandon, from last week?
Well, I think some of our predictions didn't go exactly to order, but but the things that we didn't get right, I think that they're pretty cool though, and some of the things that we thought might go differently, but I like uh, I like how Hayesville came around, made some impression. Also, Swain County, a little slow to start, but did a number on North Buncombe. Um, Murphy and Franklin, a little lopsided there. Some things to work on, but we can talk. These are things we'll talk about eventually. But number one, just getting into football, man. It's a good time of the year.
Yeah, it is. And before we get into the game recaps, let's look at some of the best performances from last week in the Smoky Mountain Conference. I think we've got a Smoky Mountain Conference leaders graphic we'll pull up. Yeah, there it is. Cole Laney leads after week 1, leads the league in passing yards. Cutler Adams, um, he had Isaac Weaver right on his tail. I think Isaac Weaver had 130 or something like that. But Cutler Adams, 150 yards on the ground last week. Hunter Stalkup on the receiving end of most of Cole Laney's passes last week, which we saw in that game that was broadcast live on fyntv.com. And then, as I mentioned, Isaac Weaver had a great day on the ground. Punched it in 4 times for 4 total touchdowns. And on the defensive side of the ball, Taylor McClure leads the Smoky Mountain Conference in tackles with 11. So, defensive battle in that Hayesville Towns County game, and paying dividends for Taylor McClure as he was flying all around the field. But I mean, the Cutler Adams performance, one of the best performances of the week. Let's get into that game and talk about Robbinsville and Asheville and kind of recap that. What were your biggest takeaways just looking at the box score and hearing some rumblings about Robbinsville versus Asheville?
Well, number one, this is a competitive game, and I like the way that they stuck to it. And you're not under the big oaks. You're 2 hours away, and once again, just the scene there in Asheville is intimidating. But through that, like you say, Cutler Adams, man, he's carrying literally carrying the team there. For this most part. And really, just a small mistake at the very end. So you take away 7 points. It's a little bit closer, just a little mental
Yeah,
error there. But you take that away, and Robbinsville going to be good when you're facing, at least, a 3A, almost sometimes a 4A team like Asheville Cougars have been. And yeah, I think that the big, all the way through, when you look at all the stats, whether it's tackles, all-purpose yards, Color actually, is one of the ones I thought, man, this is the guy for the week.
yeah, and I think you mentioned taking away that mistake at the end, that interception. That I think it was a pick six Carpenter threw. Taking that
Yeah.
away, Carpenter really in his first game as a starting quarterback on varsity, he had a pretty good game. Um, was able to free up Cutler on the ground by completing a few passes to Brock Adams and some other people. So all in all, I think the synopsis from last week is Robbinsville's going to be fine. Asheville's a very good team. Asheville Citizen Times has Asheville High ranked number 1 in the Western North Carolina Power Rankings, and that's for a reason. But Robbinsville has another test against Brevard this week against another team that's in the Asheville Citizen Times Western North Carolina top 10. What do you see coming away from this game? Just looking forward into tomorrow night.
Well, Brevard, if I remember correctly, won against Pisgah
Yeah,
by about
it's
seven.
kind of an upset.
And yeah, and I would say so. Pisgah is going to be a dominant team this year. That's one that you can measure how well you did. Type teams like a Franklin, like some of these others that but Blue Devils, they're rebuilding a little bit. watched them just a little bit with Cherokee scrimmage right before the season started, and you can tell that they're working on a few keys there. But going up to Robbinsville, I don't know. Robbinsville's run game maybe just a little bit too much for the Blue Devils, and it's the key. Once again, key to it is defense here, and I think Blue Devils can definitely move, but stopping their opponent, that might be a little bit of a challenge. Playing up in Big Oaks, I think Robbinsville Black Knights could easily do 14, 21 points over Blue. I'll step out there. I think you know uh, Cutler Adams, if he's working well coming up tomorrow night, then yeah, it'll be a Robbinsville game.
I think I'm right there with you. I think Robbinsville is still has some pent up anger from losing this game last year at Brevard. I mean, I think it was a very close game. They lost off just a critical mistake down there in the waning minutes of that football game. Very close loss. I think there's a lot of returners from that team on this Robbinsville team, and I'm right there with you. I think Robbinsville takes this one over Brevard um, pretty handily. Speaking of pretty handily, last week Andrews pretty handily uh, beat the Hickory Hawks, and Isaac Weaver had an awesome game. 8 carries, 141 yards, 4 touchdowns. And Brandon, I think you got a chance to talk to him, so let's play that interview real quick before we start talking about this game.
Isaac, thanks for joining us. First of all, 4 touchdowns. How was your game this past week?
It was pretty good. We came out, played a little sloppy first half. We didn't fully do better the second half. I mean, we got a lot of little things to fix. I mean, really, we just gotta be physical the whole time. We came out wasn't that physical at the start. We got better though. We could have done a lot better.
Talk to me about what you think about East Henderson this week.
I think as long as we keep the coverage good, the passing game, make sure we know their routes, make sure we know what's happening before the play even starts, and then we keep containing on their quarterback. I believe we'll do pretty dang good.
All right, Isaac. Go Wildcats.
Go Wildcats.
Love when we
No.
get to have players on the show, Brandon. What'd you take away? I know you got the interview with him. What'd you take away from that?
Well, first of all, the initial takeaway is Isaac Weaver did a heck of a job at the interview because we were swarmed with gnats out on the field. So if you couldn't tell him just constantly doing this, and of course I'm trying to hold camera there, and so that was number one. But in this one, Jake, the you don't talk about this. We don't talk about this too much, but they went to play this one at this North Carolina School of Deaf, and you know this field, the facilities were actually built up in the late 1800s, and it's almost similar conditions. So real muddy, not the best situation, potholes kind of everywhere. So you're dealing with a tough situation to begin with. A little bit of rain that came through that day, but going through number one, this was a good game to exercise all your faculties there. I had a moment off camera, just watched how people like Cam Rattler is coming along. Donovan Bateman obviously continues to, improve and do well. The whole team, in practice the other day, they put through some pretty tough calisthenics. So this is a team that's in shape very well. But number one, this was just a good exercise to make sure that all the rust is off, and you're getting ready to go in and face a really good East Henderson Eagles team coming up on Friday night. And there's a little bit of history behind this that I can share with you. But I'll tell you that if you're not familiar with the history, back in the 60s, Coach Hugh Pee Wee Hamilton or Hampton is the coach there. Back then, you didn't play a full state championship, East versus West. It was the East and the West titles. So he had, 3 titles, and then left and went to East Henderson. So This one, as Coach James Phillips is saying, this is the Coach Hamilton Classic that's coming up. But let's talk about this team. This is a team that will has a lot of speed. They run a little pistol to you, and but this is a team that probably also will like to pass. So in the course of the evening, pass coverage is going to be important here. You're going to have to, like as Isaac was saying, you're going to have to exercise a few more things. But I think that probably if you looked at a team that's more physical, because I think both sides are probably very well skilled, but the physical smash mouth football is going to come through. You're going to play at Andrews. Give this one to Andrews, and I think this one could be um, 24 points or so,
Yeah,
depending on how it's played. I'm thinking this one's going to be a 20-point football game for the Andrews Wildcats. A long trip for East Henderson, but I think that there's something here that now Andrews is trying to set the stage as they're going to play, and they need this one too because I believe the next game for Andrews is going to be Pisgah, and that's going to be a tough matchup.
I think um, Massey Rating says this is going to be a 7 point game. I think that's way off. I mean, East Henderson absolutely walloped Rosman last week, 42-12, something like that. Um, but Andrews is a heck of a lot better than Rosman. And you mentioned Coach Phillips. I think you got an interview with him also earlier this week. Let's roll that uh, interview.
Coach Phillips, appreciate you being with us. Tell me, how was your game with Hickory Hawks?
I mean, it was about like you'd expect. First game of the year, a long ways from home, and against a kind of a grab bag team, and you don't really know necessarily what you're going to get. And the environment was kind of weird, playing at the school for the deaf out there, and field conditions were pretty poor, and which are all things we talked about leading in. Those are things we got to be able to fight through, and the kids were. Obviously, the expectations are high. The standards are high here for our kids, and they know that. And we played pretty well. There's some execution things, some small things we've got to clean up, and that's been our focus this week, is just small things and getting those things cleaned up, and kind of being. We always talk about trying to be the best version of yourself that day, and that play and that drill or whatever. So that's what we're trying to really hone in on right now.
Looked like the rush was doing pretty well. 6 rushing touchdowns, 4 for Isaac, 2 for Austin. That has to be a nice star on the stat sheet.
Yeah, I mean, Isaac and Austin are Isaac and Austin at this point. They're seniors, and they should have earned respect, and I think they probably have from about everybody in the area. They do a great job. I don't ever question their effort or their knowledge, or they're like 2 coaches on the field. So it's a luxury to be able to have. And fortunately, we were able to get some work with our younger kids. Eli Aguilar was able to come in and get like 5 rushes, maybe for like 42 yards, and I was proud of him. Everett Tatham played a lot of defense for us as a sophomore and had a good game. Holden Todd's another sophomore running back that got some carries for us. So I was really, really happy for them because they work hard here at practice every day.
Well, tell me about what you're expecting with East Henderson. This is, and over in the conference there that they're in, probably not the most physical team like you are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say, if I say we play different styles, it comes across as like, we play physical and they don't, and I'm not saying that, but we're typically very run heavy, as you know, and most everybody else knows, and they're pass heavy. They're almost like an 80-20 pass to run, so that's something we don't typically see at all here in this conference. So it's a different test for us, and we've been working so much on coverages and routes, and I mean, they're in 3x1 and 2x2 sets all the time, and out of shotgun, and we're just not used to that. So, but it's good for us. It's good for us to be able to stretch ourselves defensively and work on that stuff. And they got some huge kids. I mean, they got a 6'7" left tackle and a 6'9" left guard that are 300 pounds. We don't see that kind of size. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, we got to take care of business.
You feel comfortable about your pass coverage since you're talking about them being a little more pass heavy?
Yeah, I mean, Isaac's on the back end of it. He's an all-conference. Should have been an all-state for his safety with 10 interceptions last year, in my opinion. But he was second in the state, so he's kind of in charge back there. But we got a lot of kids. Cole Anderson, I mean, he had some big picks for us last year in big games, and he tends to make big plays when he has to. And Cam Rattler's coming on, and Everett Tatham's coming on, and Donovan Bateman is starting at corner for us both ways now. So I feel good. We've had 2 days of good reps and 2 days to go, so we'll be ready by Friday.
Well, Friday night, go Wildcats, Coach.
Go Cats.
So I think heading into this season, the biggest question mark, if there was a question mark about Andrews, it was going to be their pass coverage. So I think we will learn a lot from this game. And just quickly before we move on to the next game, you said you're going to roll with the Cats in this one by a large margin.
I think so. I think you have to, because one, if like what we were talking about going into the interview, and then of course Coach Phillips explains a little bit more. Passing. That's probably what is going to be the bread and butter for East Henderson. You have the tools to defeat because you got the brains of Donovan Bateman, you got the speed of Isaac Weaver, and a couple others, playing in your secondary, your corners, your linebackers. I don't think that they're probably going to run as much. If they do, they're going to be in trouble. But the pass coverage is going to be covered, and it's going to really build you up for a more multi-faceted game next week when they play physical. Yeah, to answer your question directly, Wildcats, and by good margin.
I'm right there with you. I was pulling up their schedule. Andrews has North Buncombe next week.
Okay, my mistake.
So let's take a quick break, Brandon. And when we come back, we will highlight Hayesville's 1-point win over Towns County.
All right.
B&M Metals has been serving the Southeast for almost 50 years. From metal roofs and panels to gutters and metal accessories, B&M Metals is your one-stop shop for all things metal. They pride themselves on providing great service and quality at a competitive price. Give B&M Metals a call at 706-864-6068 or visit them at 6195 Highway 52 East in Murrayville or at bmmetalroofing.com. B&M Metals, protecting everything that matters to you most.
Taking a road trip is about having fun. Installing only the finest CarQuest parts from Murphy Auto Parts keeps you in the fun zone. Come by and visit our new location at 420 Peachtree Street in Murphy, where we're more than just a parts store. Trust your road trip to CarQuest Auto Parts from Murphy Auto Parts.
At Circuit World, we offer a wide selection of major appliances, name brands like Whirlpool, LG, Frigidaire, and more. Looking for furniture? Come by and browse our showroom or check out the Endless Aisle, a touchscreen kiosk with thousands of options. Need electronics, gaming computers, laptops, desktops, tablets? We have it all. OLED or QLED, 4K or high def. We have the selection to get you the TV of your dreams. And don't forget, at Circuit World, your credit is always good. So ask about our convenient payment options and 120 days, same as cash. Come see us today at one of our 5 area locations.
Are you looking for expertly decorated gifts you'll love with your custom design or logo? Graphic Expressions in Blue Ridge is your go-to place for custom apparel, accessories, gifts, and much more. Graphic Expressions is located at 3640 East 1st Street in Blue Ridge, or give them a call at 706-946-4605. Graphic Expressions, unrivaled customer service, pure brand awesomeness.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
North Georgia Metals has been serving the Southeast for over 40 years. From metal roofs and panels to gutters and metal accessories, North Georgia Metals is your one-stop shop for all things metal. Give the team at North Georgia Metals a call at 706-276-1633 or visit them at 15544 Highway 515 South in Ellijay or on the web at northgeorgiametals.com.
Welcome back, Jake West, Brandon Stevens. This is Inside the SMC, presented by Team FYN Sports. Brandon, let's talk about maybe the best game of the week. Last week, Hayesville gets a 1-point victory over Towns County. Very defensive-minded affair. Hayesville only had 132 yards of offense. They've got some things to figure out heading into the deeper into the season, but nonetheless, they start out 1-0.
Yeah, and this was, what did you say, 13-12 win last week, and I believe this is like one of the first times that Coach McClure, he's coached without at least with a win, without at least getting 21 points. 5 sacks, a couple interceptions, recovery that made it possible for them to really the leader, as I was kind of saying last week, I like Logan Caldwell, but it looked like in this game, while not gaudy figures, big yards, somebody runs for 30, 40 yards like Cutler Adams did, that just blew everybody away. It's like everybody had a little chunk of this game. Kyle Lunsford, McClure, Money, everybody contributed at least a verse here, but getting into the end zone, Logan Caldwell. So in one way, I look at it and say, well, maybe this was a balanced attack. Everybody got a little chunk of the action, some all-purpose yards. But this week, I think that probably with Georgia Force, been more homeschooled teams, it's not the most cohesive. We've seen them come face various Smoky Mountain Conference teams, and they're not pushovers. But this one, I think probably you're going to see a little more double-figured scoring. I give this one more toward obviously to Hayesville, because you're going to be playing in Hayesville under their lights rather than going down into North Georgia for this one. Hayesville 14 points at minimum.
Yeah, I think Hayesville's going to get the win in this one. But if you remember last year, Hayesville traveled to Georgia Force, and Georgia Force gave Hayesville all they wanted. I know it's a rivalry game, but I really expected more out of Hayesville last week against Towns County. I just think Towns County lost a lot last year, and they're pretty down. But it's a rivalry game, so we'll give them the benefit of the doubt heading into week 2. And the expectations are high in Hayesville, so they should wallop Georgia Force, and that's going to be my pick. But that's definitely going to be a telling game because, like you said, Georgia Force is no pushover. But moving right along, another team that really struggled last week, Cherokee versus Smoky Mountain. But they really ran into a buzzsaw that is Smoky Mountain Mustangs.
Well, yeah, like I told you last week, Isaiah McNeely, he's going to be a force for the Smoky Mountain Mustangs. So you kind of have like a thunder and lightning effect going on with Smoky Mountain. You've got Isaiah, who can just move, young guy, junior, and he's also paired up with a junior quarterback that is just unbelievable. And these two are going to be back for Smoky Mountain if everything holds, grades, health, and the weather and the pandemics don't stop us. These two will be back at Smoky Mountain, and they'll be paired back up. But they're also complemented with DeMar Williams, who just throw the ball up and it comes back down to DeMar and he takes it to the house. So, with all three, it's, you'd think thunder and lightning, that's a storm, but it's all sunshine for Smoky Mountain. Over about 115 yards for DeMar in passing, and then almost 200 yards for Isaiah. So if you can stop those two, you shut down Smoky Mountain, or if you can hurry, I think he's West, Jed West
Yeah, yeah,
is
they're
the
correct.
quarterback. Yeah, any relation?
Not that I know of, but yeah, I
Well,
mean,
you'd want to be related to him because he's a good quarterback.
yeah,
But I think they're, 2 touchdown receptions for DeMar Williams, and then Isaiah made up the rest of it. But Cherokee did not have an answer for that, as that one got fairly ugly throughout. It wasn't a big. I think if you probably went over and talked to Coach Brindley, he'd probably want to see this one come out and be a little bit quicker up tempo. And I think that's what a lot of coaches are going to tell you. We'd like to have come out and strike faster and score quicker and that sort of thing. And that's probably the big thing for Smoky Mountain. But Cherokee not having the best of evenings, but you may have a little more perspective there. Chase Calhoun, I think was that one of your player picks this week?
yeah, he was Cherokee Player of the Week. I think he had 80 yards on the ground, and he was really their only offensive production. But looking forward to this week as Cherokee takes on Franklin. I mean, it's more of the same. You get Ty Hanley ran it all over Murphy last week. Ty, you don't want to compare two players in Isaiah McNeely and Ty Hanley, but um, they're both very hard downhill runners. And I mean, Cherokee's got their work cut out for them again this week against Franklin.
Yeah, and I guess the only difference is that you probably won't. Well, we didn't see as much passing from
Yeah,
Franklin this
yeah,
this week. 2 of 7 for Andrews, and but the big one was 300 yards of offense and 260, almost 270, or 268, almost 270 yards came on the ground. So definitely, Cherokee's going to have to watch the corners there, or inside the 1 hole and the 9 hole, because that's where it's going to go. And Handley just he moves. That's the one player you're going to have to shut down if you're Cherokee. So watch the corners, and that's where Coach Brooks really came in and made that happen over Murphy. But another tough one. I think the only difference here is that you probably factor out as much passing that Smoky Mountain showed Cherokee. So your defensive secondary may need to move up just a bit and hug those corners, or bring some folks down closer into the box on this one.
yeah. I mean, it's tough to not pick Franklin in this one. Just seeing what they did against Murphy last week, so I'm going to roll with the Panthers over the Braves, just because I mean we haven't seen enough out of this Cherokee team yet to show that they can compete with the big dogs. And I mean, can't say enough about what Ty Henley did last week against Murphy as we get into talking about that game. Just go ahead and give us your takeaways from Murphy Franklin last week.
Well, not a pretty game, and long faces. Like I was explaining in an article this week that Murphy came away expecting to do much better, and there were too many things that needed to be worked upon. But the bigger thing that what you saw there, some coverage, some just getting a little bit better in shape, basically watching your keys and taking care of situations. Uh, that's all fixable. You don't let
Yeah.
people get back to your running back before they get off the line and cause a turnover. You got to give your quarterback protection. You've got to you got to make things happen. You've got to execute. So all those things that if you go from Coach Watson to Coach Laney to Kernia to the Curtis brothers there, they'll all tell you these are things that were fixed. But this week in practice, though, coming out, one Friday night, long faces, worried, but very confident this week. They've had some really good work in practice, and so I think that you'll see a different football team that's going down, and a few adjustments with defense. Won't exactly say what those are right here, but looks like they're going to try to turn the corner, and this Commerce game is going to be really big. You're going to see almost with the Commerce Tigers and the Franklin Panthers, it's almost just you if you flip the map over, Franklin touches Commerce. It's the same team. It's downhill running, almost zero passing. If they have 50 or 60 plays, they might pass twice. But that's what we've seen on film. Now we may get down there, and all of a sudden they're just lighting up the sky, and every play is a pass play. But I don't think so. Uh, Georgia or this Georgia team has really like a triple I formation. So you'll see Jaden Daniels, who is I believe a sophomore, and just quick as a cat. And then in front of him is Tayshawn Wiggins, big guy, and he's grease lightning. But so typically what will happen, Tayshawn leads the way, Jaden gets the yards and moves. That's how that game went with Southside Christian. The other threat there, so you've got the triple threat, and that's John Paul Allen, who's the quarterback. He'll call his own number, so he'll run option and give it to himself. I don't think you're necessarily going to see like a lot of jets and sweeps. This is going to be like some power running between the posts, and they make it happen. Turn them around on defense. Really didn't see too much with the defense. This is usual 4-3 defense. They might pull up their Sam linebacker and put them on the line and give a 50 set look, but or thin out the line if we start to show pass. But this is the amorphous part of the team that's just a little unfamiliar as the defense. So do you pass? Do you run? This one's going to be, I think, a close football game. Depending on how we are disciplined on the road and how we get down and take this game, seriously and work for it, Murphy could come up with a 7-point difference there. But this one is important. You got to start turning the corner because you're going to have South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. You're going to have Fannin, and these guys aren't doing bad. These are not typical softy non-conference games that you're going to play.
Yeah.
So you got to win. But if you don't do what you need to do, this one could get out of hand for Murphy. And I'll put it that way. So I'm kind of mixed bag. It just depends. Knowing what we know, we're going to have to stop speed, but we haven't been doing that well. We didn't stop Ty Handley that well. He may have gotten stopped and there was like a student body tackle on him, but goodness gracious, he was going 3, 4, 5, 6 yards on those, and 3 or 4 Murphy Bulldogs on his back.
Yeah, and it doesn't get any. I mean, we saw Ty Handley and how good he was. It doesn't get any easier this week. Just like you said, I mean, Jaden Daniels, preseason All-State in Georgia at the running back position. He's only 5'7", 160 pounds, but he's built like a brick house. Just a big guy, a cut-up guy, and he's going to be hard for the Murphy defense to deal with. But I liked what Coach Watson said last week after the game about how everything that they did wrong was fixable. And the coaching staff took accountability for a lot of things that went wrong and pieces that were in the wrong place. So I think it's going to be fun to see what Murphy team takes the field out there in Commerce on Friday. And I got a chance to catch up with the potluck football guys that cover Commerce High School. So let's roll that interview, and then we'll go into commercial and come back and talk about Swain and everything that Coach Holt's doing over there in Bryson City. Welcome in, Jake West of Team FYN Sports. I am joined by the potluck football guys to preview the Commerce and Murphy matchup here this Friday night. Guys, I appreciate you joining us. You guys want to say your names? I don't even know you by anything other than potluck football.
Go ahead, Dana. Yeah, my name's Colton Dean. Commerce Commerce alum, 2010. I think we're both 2010,
Yep.
but yeah, I'm Colton Dean, and
Mason, Tiger fan.
So speaking of the Tigers, let's just get right into it. What can you tell us about Commerce and the Murphy fans coming from North Carolina? I mean, what do we expecting? Are we seeing a 5-star facilities and turf field, or are we seeing more of a small town feel like we're used to over here in 1A football in North Carolina?
Well, from what I hear, Commerce is a lot like Murphy. I got to talk to Tim Tao up at Gilmer. He's from Fannin, and Commerce is a small town in northeast Georgia. You know, we've been playing football since 1909. We like our facilities. You know, it's not going you're not going to have a light show at Commerce, but we love it.
As far as the team is concerned, and offensively, I mean, what kind of scheme are we going to see? Is it I mean, the same small town football veer wing tee, something like that, or do you guys like to spread it out and air raid it?
So we run triple option. We've been triple option specialists about the same time as the stadium was built, 1965, and but we're carrying on it this year. We've been running out of the I and the power I, and then out of we've been walking up a H back, kind of like flexed off the end. But we still run the triple. We run we're a ground first team. You know, if we throw the ball 5 times, it's a banner night for the passing game.
So I think that's probably going to play well into the weather that they're predicting for Friday night. I think we might get a little bit of rain, but just tell us whose name are we going to hear over the loudspeaker? Who's gonna be the impact players here on Friday night for the Tigers?
yeah, we got a pretty much that carry the load a pretty good bit. Jakari Huff and Jaden Daniel. Jaden Daniels is a sophomore. He's preseason All-State running back, and those carry the load on the offensive side of the ball. But with the style of offense we run, I mean, you really got to give credit to the guys up front too. You got a lot of great blocking, a lot of great. You won't hear their name over the loudspeaker, but you'll definitely see their impact throughout the game. Those guys clear a lot of big holes. And then if you want to talk about the defenders,
Yeah, on defense, we're led real stout defensive line up front. In the interior, we play Pat Mintz, who's a sophomore, but he looks like a senior. And then a new guy, his name is Michael Duncan. I got to look up his name because he's so new. But he's just as big as Pat.
One game into the season, we're still figuring it out.
He's just as big as Pat, and he's pretty good too. A little bit taller than Pat. And then we got Jack Fagan on the one end and Colton Hill on the other, and they've been pretty good at blitzing thus far. We've played a couple different looks, 4-3. We got in 50 last week against Southside. Did a weird thing that I've never seen before. I mean, I've been out of the football world for a long time as a player, but we ran a 50 front with 1 linebacker and 5 DBs. So we had 2 good corners in Jakari Huff and Jackson Morris, my sophomore at 1 safety, and Cohen Thomason, I think, at the other safety. And then the deep safety is Caleb Lovin, or maybe I've reversed Thomason and Lovin there. But in the middle of it all is Cole Hill, number 14. He is the linebacker, the middle linebacker, and the quarterback of the defense. He led the team in tackles with 11 last week. Real physical, stopped the run first, good hands, gets good speed, but real tough. And that's what we look like on defense.
Yeah, and kind of just to touch on the sort of small town, small team thing that Murphy probably has too. A lot of the guys play both ways, so you'll see the same names getting called on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. You mentioned last week. Were you guys there for last week? And can you kind of just tell us I mean, that was a monumental win for the program over
Yeah,
a
it was.
very
I mean,
good team from South Carolina.
for sure, that was a big win for us. I mean, that team hadn't lost since November of 2019, and to go up there on the road and beat them at their place to kick the year off. I mean, that kind of set the tone for, I guess, expectations, and then moving forward, kind of what to expect out of this Commerce Tiger team. But yeah, Mason was on ground. He was on the scene, so I can let him talk a little bit more about that game specifically.
Yeah, the cool thing about that game was we went up there and initially it looked like we were stone cold dead on the field. I mean, 3 and out right off the bat, and it looked rough. But our boys stuck with it, and they didn't panic. They were tough. They were disciplined, and they really ground down Southside Christian, which we kind of think that that's one of our strengths this year as a team, is that we play tough. And Dino said we've got some guys that play both ways, but not as many as we traditionally do. We've only got 2 right now, and then some sub on defense that play on offense, but 2 starters both ways. So pretty big squad. We got 20 seniors, which is the most we've had in a couple of years. And then a class of, I think, 10 or 11 behind them, and then 20 sophomores are all pretty instrumental. So we played really well. The defense came up big, and the offense got plays when we needed it. Yeah. Even converted a fake punt on the first game.
Well, just looking over, we use this tool, a matchup predictor tool called Massey Ratings. It's what they used to use when they did the BCS rankings and all that stuff. And it says 27-21 Commerce over Murphy. If you guys we're betting men, what kind of spread would you say you're looking at heading into this? I mean, I know it's week 2 for both teams. I mean, it's hard for me to predict too. Just watching Murphy last week, but I mean, does the score sound right, or is Commerce traditionally more of a lower scoring defensive type team?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that is. I guess it could. I mean, it's hard to say after one game. I mean, it could work out that way. But if I was kind of setting the line, I mean, given that Murphy has to go on the road, and I think Vegas usually gives the home team about 3, I would give Commerce maybe be the favorite by 3, and if it was a neutral site, just about a pick 'em. I think it's going to be a really good game, and we know that Murphy's got a long kind of standing tradition of having a good ball team, and we know they're going to bring down a good bunch of kids and hopefully a good crowd too. So definitely looking forward to Friday night, and I think it's going to be, with that being a game still, I think it will be a 1-score game for sure.
B&M Metals has been serving the Southeast for almost 50 years. From metal roofs and panels to gutters and metal accessories, B&M Metals is your one-stop shop for all things metal. They pride themselves on providing great service and quality at a competitive price. Give B&M Metals a call at 706-864-6068 or visit them at 6195 Highway 52 East in Murrayville or at bmmetalroofing.com. B&M Metals, protecting everything that matters to you most.
Taking a road trip is about having fun. Installing only the finest CarQuest parts from Murphy Auto Parts keeps you in the fun zone. Come by and visit our new location at 420 Peachtree Street in Murphy, where we're more than just a parts store. Trust your road trip to CarQuest Auto Parts from Murphy Auto Parts.
At Circuit World, we offer a wide selection of major appliances, name brands like Whirlpool, LG, Frigidaire, and more. Looking for furniture? Come by and browse our showroom or check out the endless aisle, a touchscreen kiosk with thousands of options. Need electronics, gaming computers, laptops, desktops, tablets? We have it all. OLED or QLED, 4K or high def. We have the selection to get you the TV of your dreams. And don't forget, at Circuit World, your credit is always good. So ask about our convenient payment options and 120 days, same as cash. Come see us today at one of our 5 area locations.
Are you looking for expertly decorated gifts you'll love with your custom design or logo? Graphic Expressions in Blue Ridge is your go-to place for custom apparel, accessories, gifts, and much more. Graphic Expressions is located at 3640 East 1st Street in Blue Ridge, or give them a call at 706-946-4605. Graphic Expressions, unrivaled customer service, pure brand awesomeness.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
North Georgia Metals has been serving the Southeast for over 40 years. From metal roofs and panels to gutters and metal accessories, North Georgia Metals is your one-stop shop for all things metal. Give the team at North Georgia Metals a call at 706-276-1633 or visit them at 15544 Highway 515 South in Ellijay or on the web at northgeorgiametals.com.
Welcome back, Jake West, Brandon Stevens. This is Inside the SMC, presented by Team FYN Sports. Brandon, a lot to prove for Murphy this week against Commerce, as we just heard from the Potluck football guys. Appreciate those guys coming on. Only thing I'll say about Commerce negatively at this point is they do not have very good Wi-Fi over there, obviously, as those guys' signal kept cutting out. But another team that has a lot to prove this week, Brandon, is going to be Swain County. Sherman Holt and his Maroon Devils. He got a big win last week against North Buncombe, I believe. Shut them out. And we saw kind of some new schemes from them. Gabe Lillard is no longer the quarterback at Swain County.
Correct. He's going to be one of the runners. Reese Winchester, good-looking kid for the Swain County, coming out to take the snaps and make things happen. Although in that football game, a few miscues that not necessarily costly, but a few things that would you'd want to start working on for this coming week, because the competition goes from here to here, and I'm just giving a little few props to Smoky Mountain, maybe taking a little bit away from North Buncombe, but the North Buncombe this year, they've been rebuilding. We watched them a little bit when we were under a lightning delay for last week's Murphy Franklin game. Not the greatest start for either side. Several miscues and not taking care of the ball. Fumbles, I think there were probably 3 in that game and 1 that was lost. So, but for that, Reese Winchester learning a few new steps at quarterback, but you want to see him as a junior, season him up right, and he'll be right for you next year. Gabe obviously can step in there if things don't go exactly well, but he's the workhorse, 130 yards from last week, and scoring the touchdowns. So within that, this week a little bit different. The one thing that Swain was able to do, they were able to contain a decent run for the North Buncombe Blackhawks. But once again, Blackhawks having their troubles. 3 different coaches, 3 different years, or in 3 consecutive years, and they were having trouble getting up and down the field. And so really this was like just a different system of errors. but who came out on top, taking care of the ball was Swain County. Now, when Smoky Mountain comes to town, a couple different things. We've already talked about this, with Smoky Mountain and Cherokee. Well, Isaiah McNally, got to stop him. You've got Jed West. He's a good quarterback. Maybe even call his own number if he wanted to. But DeMar Williams, he's gonna come out looking like a superstar. With catching the passes. So you've got that triple threat, but you're only one-dimensional with North Buncombe at this point. So let's see what they can do. But then the other thing too, Jake, you had the video rolling last year. We were looking at Isaiah a bit. But remember what happened in that game? Playing over in Silva, Smoky Mountain had like a double-digit leads and lost. So Smoky Mountain, I think, is going to be going to Memorial Stadium with a chip on its shoulder, wanting to say, "Look, we're getting."
I think we might have lost Brandon there. That's what I get for making fun of Commerce Internet being bad. But we've got an interview with Sherman Holt, the head coach of Swain County Maroon Devils. Let's play that, Ryan, and then we'll.
Coach Holt, thank you for joining us, Team FYN Sports. Tell us, first of all, are you at home here in Bryson City? Have you gotten your roots starting to grow in Swain County?
Yeah. Anytime you come to a new place, it's always a little different. And I'll tell you, I've been welcomed with open arms. It's a great community, a lot of people, a lot of support. They still live and breathe football in Swain County, right. And that's a good thing. And they're just happy to, help you, offer anything they can. And me and my family, we've adjusted real well of, getting settled in and getting our feet wet, in this first season.
Well, what are your thoughts? What are your takeaways from Friday night's game? It was a little bit of a slower start to get the tempo up for you for North Buncombe, knock a few mistakes out of the way, but after you got rolling, hey man, shut them out, 21 points, not too bad of a football game.
Yeah, we kind of started slow and kind of shot ourselves in the foot with some penalties and some turnovers, and like I said, we faced some adversity, and you always want to see how your team responds. And about midway through the second quarter, we blocked a field goal that North Buncombe attempted, and that really kind of changed the game for us. And we went down and scored, and then went into half up 6-0, and come out, made some adjustments, and then our kids just played very hard and finally got things going on offense. And our plan was to kind of control the clock, and I think we ended up having the ball for almost 36 minutes wow. of the game. And so, we kind of took pride in that we were able to, run the ball very well in the second half. I think we had a 13-play drive to open the second half, and we ended that with a touchdown and then got a 2-point conversion. So, glad that our kids, hung in there and played tough, and we made some adjustments and got it rolling, and defense played really well to get the shutout.
Well, there's always been a little bit of drama in between a Jackson County and a Swain County team, back from Silva's Golden Hurricanes to the Golden Eagles to the Mustangs, and playing any kind of Bryson City team. But coming into this football game, you got to watch Isaiah and DeMar. They're great runners, good physical football team. Tell me what you're thinking about to stop Smoky Mountain.
Yeah, we just got to play assignment football. Know your keys and read them, and just be in your right spot. And we always tell our kids, do your 111th. Don't try to do somebody else's job. Right. And so for us Friday, we just got to play our type of ball, and be physical, be tough. It's always a big game, big rivalry. And, you always kind of look forward to how your kids respond in these rivalry games. And Coach Brindley, he does a real good job. And, I know they're going to be a tough opponent. They're coached well. And they got some real good kids over there wearing blue and gray. And so it's one of those things that, for us, we just got to play real hard, do our assignment, and try to take care of the football offensively, and just play tough, hard-nosed defense.
Well, good luck and best wishes. And as we'll tell every coach that we talk to, go Maroon Devils.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate Coach Holt sitting down with us and joining us on the show this week. Huge test for him and his Maroon Devils as they face Smoky Mountain. Smoky Mountain, great football team here in Western North Carolina. So that's gonna be fun to watch. But if you can't make it out to any of the other games in the Smoky Mountain Conference, we will be going to Commerce, Georgia, just around Athens, and we'll be live on fyntv.com as the Dogs take on the Tigers. Murphy plays Commerce. Murphy will try to turn the corner, and we'll see if Commerce can start the season 2-0. That game will be live on fyntv.com. But we wish all our Smoky Mountain Conference teams good luck this week. We hope they all win. Obviously, no conference games this week. Won't be till week 6 of the season. But for Brandon Stevens, this is Jake West. This has been Inside the SMC, presented by Team FYN Sports.
B&M Metals has been serving the Southeast for almost 50 years. From metal roofs and panels to gutters and metal accessories, B&M Metals is your one-stop shop for all things metal. They pride themselves on providing great service and quality at a competitive price. Give B&M Metals a call at 706-864-6068 or visit them at 6195 Highway 52 East in Murrayville or at bmmetalroofing.com. B&M Metals, protecting everything that matters to you most.
Taking a road trip is about having fun. Installing only the finest CarQuest parts from Murphy Auto Parts keeps you in the fun zone. Come by and visit our new location at 420 Peachtree Street in Murphy, where we're more than just a parts store. Trust your road trip to CarQuest Auto Parts from Murphy Auto Parts.
At Circuit World, we offer a wide selection of major appliances, name brands like Whirlpool, LG, Frigidaire, and more. Looking for furniture? Come by and browse our showroom or check out the endless aisle, a touchscreen kiosk with thousands of options. Need electronics, gaming computers, laptops, desktops, tablets? We have it all. OLED or QLED, 4K or high def, we have the selection to get you the TV of your dreams. And don't forget, at Circuit World, your credit is always good. So ask about our convenient payment options and 120 days same as cash. Come see us today at one of our 5 area locations.
Are you looking for expertly decorated gifts you'll love with your custom design or logo? Graphic Expressions in Blue Ridge is your go-to place for custom apparel, accessories, gifts, and much more. Graphic Expressions is located at 3640 East 1st Street in Blue Ridge, or give them a call at 706-946-4605. Graphic Expressions, unrivaled customer service, pure brand awesomeness.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
North Georgia Metals has been serving the Southeast for over 40 years. From metal roofs and panels to gutters and metal accessories, North Georgia Metals is your one-stop shop for all things metal. Give the team at North Georgia Metals a call at 706-276-1633 or visit them at 15544 Highway 515 South in Ellijay or on the web at northgeorgiametals.com.